swimmer, or hi everyone. I know this might look like a bit of an odd time of year to be doing some light cultivating, hoeing up all the weeds around my one intended grass here, which is still looking reasonably good. It's an evergreen. I've completely forgotten the name of it, but this one here is lovely and he's intentional. However, all of the weeds and mess and blackberries around it are not. So I'm cleaning up, trying to get things a bit more organized and a little bit more under control down here in the bottom patch of the garden.
Bok, I'm Mandy O. This is Grow, Make, Cook, and welcome to my garden. I grew up in Australia in a permaculture family, but after we got married, Mr. O and I moved here to his home country of Croatia. I am a passionate and hands-on homemaker and gardener, and I love life's simple pleasures. So join me on my journey, and together we can learn to grow, make, and cook. This is the second week in November, or Studeni.
Now, I have lost control of the area around this beautiful grass quite badly, and the secret to getting the areas around the plants that you really want to keep under control is something I've said before, and I'll probably say again. It's mulch. Mulch, mulch, mulch. Now, the two-layered system that I have been trying to use in this garden bed, where I put down torn up cardboard first and then afterwards a layer of wood chippings, is great if you've actually got the resources to do it. But in a great big bed like this one, it can be time consuming and really rather a big job. So what I'm trying to do is do a little patch at a time. If I can just get one area under control and thickly mulched, it will stop the weeds coming through quite so much and give me a chance to move on to the next little area. So keeping your goals small and what you're trying to achieve, just maybe this square meter around this grass that I want to keep, then that gives you something that you can achieve, something that you can get the resources down for quickly, but also something that is going to benefit your garden in the long term. One of the beautiful things about getting cardboard down is that it will also feed the soil and all that business, but it can be packed on really thickly, and that's what you want. It's much, much better to have a very small bit mulched thickly and well than a little tiny bit of mulch kind of sprinkled all over the garden. This time of year, it's also really important to start feeding the birds. Now, my sunflowers, as you can probably see, are mostly eaten up. There's not really very much seed left in them, and the birds have started to slowly move on. And that makes me kind of sad. One of the most beautiful things at the moment is the huge number of small songbirds, robins and blue tits and all sorts of things. We even had a jay the other day come by, and so I really want to kind of encourage the birds to stay in the local area. Now, it's really important that if you start feeding the birds, and I do recommend you do it, they're lovely to watch, but if you start feeding the birds in winter, it's really important that you keep feeding the birds the entire winter. They fly around a lot looking for food, and They expend a lot of energy coming to the places where they think food will be. And so if they consistently come back to your garden and don't find food, they're going to really suffer as a result. Now, I have a whole lot of ideas for how I can feed the birds. And I thought I would start off today with a really simple one. Now, if you, like me, enjoy a little extra vitamin C over the winter and tend to eat an orange or a half orange with your breakfast or whatever, then you've probably got a fair few of these lying around, either from your juice or from eating them. But this, I think, is going to make a fantastic little short-term bird holder. So, what I have here is 2 kebab sticks, half an orange, a bit of string, my loose bird seed, and something to cut the ends off it, because you don't want these sharp pokey bits poking through. But all I'm going to do is very simply poke each of the kebab sticks through the orange, one, and then one above it, a little bit further up, 2, so we make a little perch for the birds to land on and they can get in there. And then I'm just going to pop a little handful of seed in there like that and tie some string. And so now that I've tied a few little knots, so I've got a little loopy thing to hang it with, I'm just going to nip those sharp ends off so that we don't stab our little birdie friends, and let's go and hang it in the tree. I think maybe in there. That'll give them a little bit of protection and a place to perch to eat. And now I just have to wait and see who comes to visit. My second idea for the other half of that orange, which was delicious this morning by the way, is for a slightly different, slightly more macrame style holder. I have 6 little bits of string, about 45 centimeters long, and my orange. And all I'm going to do is tie all of them together, firstly with just this one knot. So it's not really macrame if you don't use multiple knots, I don't think, but doesn't matter for me. So the first thing I'm going to do is tie these. I can hear them singing. I think that's blue tit. So, tie all of them into little pairs, and then each of the pairs I'm going to then tie the same knot again to make them into a circle. So you can see my second knot is very close to the first, probably about 1 centimeter away, thereabouts. And this set of 6 knots will make the base, the bit that holds our orange peel in place. Then I'm going to do quite a long gap between my knots. So this next one is at about 2 knuckles, which is about 4 centimeters length. It is important with this to make sure you are actually taking the 2 that sit next to each other so that you don't get any crossing. My 4th row of knots, so 1, 2 make the base, 3 makes the first one around, and so my 4th row of knots are also at about 4 centimeters. My last set of knots are just up another rung, more for the look of it than to hold the structure together at all, just because I like the look of the macrame knot tying thing, really. They're also about 2 knuckles, so 4 centimeters up. Just for consistency, really, that is. All right, now all of them get tied together to hold itself in place, and then I'll just hook through all of them to pop it on the branch. There we go. Let me pop some seed in there. Oh, don't want to fill it too full. Fall out everywhere. Oh, and I'm getting a bit of stick fall in there. Good. All right, let's go and find a place to hang this. This hedge behind me, I think, makes excellent cover for a lot of little birds hopping about, and so I think having one just here will encourage them across from the cornfield beyond over into the garden. Yeah, they do really look empty, don't they? Good thing we've gotten those bird feeders up when we have. Hopefully the birds will like them. But I think that's about all we've got time for today. So thanks for visiting. If you like what we're doing, please like the video. And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe. If you want notifications, use the bell icon below. And until next time then, do widzenia.